When I got into journalism, I went to work with the Ministry of Defense magazine. It was called Ingabo magazine, and I was the first woman journalist and civilian. The first day of my job there, when I was entering in the corridor of the media house, there was this guy. He came and said he wanted to touch my private part, and he said, "Yes, touch me." And he was like, "Eh? You don't even have fear?" I said, "No, I don't fear you." He just said, "Maybe you're not a woman."
Imagine a world where we have gender equality and equity in and through the media. That is our mission at African Women in Media. I am Dr. Yemisi Akimbobola, your host, and this is Her Media Diary, a podcast that captures the lived experiences of African women working in media industries. In this episode, I'm joined by Peace Hilary, an accomplished Rwandan journalist with over 20 years of experience in media profession and the managing director of Family Magazine, a publication which focuses on gender issues, family promotion, women's empowerment, gender-based violence, and family conflicts. Peace shares her journey with me from surviving the Rwandan genocide to becoming a prominent voice for gender equality and women's empowerment. She discusses how she lobbied for a gender desk at the Rwandan Ministry of Defense, a journey in founding Family Magazine, efforts in combating gender-based violence, and a vision for a media landscape that includes and uplifts marginalized voices. Now, throughout this series, we will be in conversation with African women who have become media legends by virtue of their long years of experience and invaluable contribution to the growth and actualization of gender equality and equity in and through media. By inviting these voices into conversation, we hope to provide solutions to breaking down barriers faced by African women in media industry. All right, well, thank you so much for joining me, Peace. Hilary, all the way from Kigali, Rwanda. Me and you have known each other for a couple of years now because we did some research in Rwanda looking at the barriers for women in media there. And you head your own association there. Actually, you're the chair of the board of Women Media Owners for Change. And you're the managing director of Family Magazine. And you focus a lot on gender issues, family promotion, women empowerment, combating gender-based violence, and etc. So you do a lot of work in the same space that I am in, but in Rwanda. Of course, we had the conference there last year, the African Women in Media conference there last year. So thank you so much for all your input. You were brilliant. Thank you so much. I wanted to start with kind of saying that big thank you. So, Hilary, I love to start this interview by getting to know the history of my guest because often, when we Google us African women, barely do we hear our stories, our own personal stories, not just our professional kind of accomplishments. So, tell me more about Peace, your early years, and I'd love to hear more.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Emisi. PC Hilary, 6 years, and I'm a mother of 7.
Of 7.
Yes, of 7.
I did not know that. You're a mother of 7. Wow.
Yeah, 3 of them are my biological children, and the other ones are my children. They are all
Right.
7. They are all my children. I don't divide them.
Yes, yes.
And I'm a grandma of a handsome boy of 5 years. I'm a journalist for now 22 years of experience. I'm just entering in 23 years of experience in my journalism career. The chair, as you said, I'm the chairperson of Women Media Owners and the founder of Family Magazine, and I'm also the managing director of Family Magazine. And now I'm the Secretary General of Rwanda Gender Media Connect. Is a new organization that we found recently to head Family Magazine, because Family Magazine, we found that we are working in especially in the community. So we needed to be headed by an NGO, a non-government organization. We founded Rwanda Gender Media Connect.
So I'm going to stop you there because we went straight into accomplishments, right?
Yeah.
But what I want to know is Peace and your history as a human being, as an individual. Where did you start from? Where did you grow up? Like, let's go back to the early years, your earliest memories of peace.
I was born in 1978, and I was the first daughter of my parents, and following four good boys. My parents stopped having children after four boys, and after 4 years, they prayed to have another kid, and I was coming there. I was the fifth child and the first girl in the family. It was a privilege to me. So I grown up in my parents' hands. Especially, I was very shared by my father. The most time I was spending with my parents, the most of them I was with my father.
Mm,
He used me to have a conversation with me, to lead me to become someone special in my life. He used to take me to his office to show me how people works. And I was in primary school. Even when I was in secondary school, he used to take me to the office and show me that we get money from working. So you will be someone you want if you work hard.
mm,
So I lost him during genocide against Tutsi in 1994. I was 16 years.
right.
It was very tough.
Mm,
Even my brothers were also killed along with him during
mm,
genocide against Tutsi. So I stayed with my mom and my other siblings, two girls and two boys. So we remained five
mm,
out of eight.
mm.
So it was very tough. Uh,
Do you mind talking a bit more about that period of time and the impact it kind of had on you?
so you see, if you have dreams as a kid, especially a daughter in the context of Rwanda, and you are empowered by your father, and boom, he went. So you see you think that your dreams are going down. So
Mm,
that what happened to me. I was thinking, am I going to
mm,
continue my studies? And now I thank my mom. She was a brave woman. She told us, you won't stop your studies. You are going to move on. You are going to study. I will do my best. She did her best. I had that opportunity to have an encouraging mother.
mm.
She is actually my role model. I went to school. It was a struggle to have something on plate. It was struggle, but we continued. We moved on.
During the
So
genocide, what impact did the genocide itself have on you and kind of what you do today? And again, it's only if you feel comfortable to talk about it.
I didn't get abused during genocide against Tutsi, but I was getting some information about other girls like me and
Mm,
women who were abused, violated, sexual assaults during genocide against Tutsi. And I saw that women are used like weapons during conflicts, especially the genocide against Tutsi. I think we have more than 500 women who was sexually violated during genocide against Tutsi. And this made me to see that women should protect themselves as we are exposed in everything. We are exposed during the wars, during the conflict. We are exposed even when there is peace. We are always exposed, so we should protect ourselves. So genocide left me with, first of all, hunger to fight for women's rights, to fight for women to live in peaceful
mm,
environment, in peaceful nation and worldwide. So, and it taught me how to do my best to stop like genocide ideologies, to go with others to say never again, genocide never
mm,
again. Not
mm,
only in Rwanda, even in the other countries across the
mm.
world.
And you said that after your dad had passed away and your mother obviously was trying her best, that it was still very hard, in terms of getting food on the table. What are your memories of that period and the impact on you?
The memories that I had, I always see my mother
Mm,
telling other women, let's stand, let's get up. and work. Our husbands went, they're no longer there, and but we still have children. We have to raise these children. We have to do decent works, decent projects to raise these children. So she found an organization that was called Imhore. Imhore is like I comfort you. Imhore ahead with the other widows, genocide widows, and they created a tradition barret, and they also had a project of a restaurant, a big restaurant, to prepare some foods for patients that they were in the hospitals. And they also created some projects on producing no doing gardens, flower gardens, and other projects. There are many projects with those women in one organization that was called Imhode, and they got funded. So we had to go to school. We had something to eat, something to wear because of those women who came together and say we have to work hard to raise these children. And from this, I can say that before that, I was seeing these women at home. Today, we are talking about unpaid care work. I was seeing them at home, taking care of all of us, taking care of their husbands, and I was now I realized that those women were brave because they said, okay, we no longer have these husbands with us, but we can walk. We can stand, get up and walk to raise children, to get them in school, to live.
Yeah, yeah. And so, what would you say inspired you to pursue a career in journalism, particularly focused on gender issues, women empowerment, and gender based violence?
Yeah, there are two things. I was inspired by my father to get in journalism because he told me that he was a journalist. He had been a journalist in his young age. He was working with the then only media house that was all in for the Arabia Today. And I was very excited to hear him talking about his journalism career. So I decided to become a journalist. Yes, but to become gender reporter and fight against gender-based violence journalist, it was from my childhood. We were staying, we were living it as a family in a neighborhood. I was seeing women who was very abused, beaten up. It was very bad as a child to see a husband is beating his wife at my age. It wasn't just normal. And from then, I was saying myself, no one can beat me. Even if I get married, I will put their boundaries, and no one beats me. My husband won't beat me. I will put some conditions before I get married. So when I started journalism, actually, before I started journalism, I went to study the law, and I was saying maybe if I study the law, I will advocate, or I will protect some women. Women were in my head that they are the most abused. So I went to study law to protect them. And after I realized that, no, there is a need of my voice to advocate using my voice, using my power as a journalist. So that's why. And I remembered that I was dreaming to become a journalist. So I took that decision and get in journalism and start fighting against gender-based violence. And when I got in journalism, I went to work with the Ministry of Defense magazine. It was called Ingabo magazine, and I was the first woman journalist and civilian.
Wow, okay. So you're the first female journalist to work at the Rwandese Ministry of Defense magazine. Yeah?
Yes.
Describe that experience of being the first and only woman in that space and the civilian. What was that experience like?
So the first experience I had, the first day of my job there, when I was entering in the corridor of the media house, there was this guy. Uh, he's no longer there. His soul rest in peace. And he was there. He came and said, He wanted to touch
Wow.
my private part, and I was just standing, and he said, "Oh, why you don't do it? If you want to do it, yes, touch me." And he was like, "Eh, you, you don't even have fear." I said, "No, I don't. I don't fear you." And it was the
Mm,
first time, the first day,
mm.
and he just said, "Maybe you are not a woman."
So you stood up to him, you stood your ground,
Yes.
considering this is your first day in an environment where you're the only woman, you're the only civilian.
And he doesn't know me. I don't know him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So from that day, he started respecting me, and I was influencing them during the editorial meeting because I went there to write stories on women and on gender, and they were saying gender is for women, and they were saying no, gender is not for women. Gender is for all of us. And they say, no, no, peace, gender is for women. You brought these things from Occidental countries and you brought them here. You don't consider our culture. And I was saying, no, gender is for all of us. Gender is for our families. It's not for women, and we are not promoting just women. We're empowering them because if you know our historical background, we have to empower women through gender perspective. So it was called those things of women. Even when we were getting invitation letters to go to cover stories on gender, they were, please come and see those things of yours, those things of women. So it wasn't good for me, and because I was used to tell them to face them and tell them,
Mm,
please don't say these things for women.
mm.
Please don't undermine women. And that time I was called Igishega, where Igishega is like, you are not a real woman.
Wow.
You behave like a man. So
Because
Igishega
you
is
stood up
like, it's
for
an insult. Yeah,
yeah,
they were
yeah, yeah.
insulting me. I think
Uh,
Igishega is not a good name, but it means that you are not a real woman.
mm,
You want to behave like a man while you are not.
mm. And whilst you were there, you lobbied for a gender desk, right? So I'm trying to picture you're experiencing all of this kind of gendered discrimination, biases, sexual harassment and all that, and you're the only woman in this space, and they're trying to put you in your place, so to speak. So
Yeah.
in the process of lobbying for a gender desk and also dealing with all of that, how would you share your experiences of kind of navigating all of that?
Uh, I always tell women that they should stand on what they believe in. So I was standing on my understanding and my ideologies as a woman and a gender reporter. And so I had to live with these people and to work together. They had to respect my rubric. I was responsible for a rubric that was called Nyaminga.
Mm,
And I remember it was in January, we are celebrating the New Year. So we got to go outside with my colleagues and our uh, director,
mm,
and when we are discussing about our rubrics, our programs, he gave example of mine. You see,
mm,
the rubric of gender, the rubric that peace is responsible. What do you think? It doesn't bring money. It's like it's not interested. It is very, very social and very soft.
mm,
And they were saying, yeah, it doesn't bring money. Okay. If you want this program to bring money, I can give you an advice or a suggestion.
mm,
You see, that time, Rwanda National Police have gender desk.
mhm,
And I was saying, you see, in the Rwanda National Police, they have gender desk. In Rwanda National Police, when a policeman do domestic violence, he get to be held accountable by the organization itself. But for military, where do you go? Where your wives report when they face domestic violence with their husband, their marital
mm,
husbands, and I was saying, telling them that we should suggest a gender desk in the army where those women who has issues with their husband, the military husband, can go and get support. And before that, military men should be trained on gender and on how they can fight against gender-based violence and domestic violence. And he was saying, peace, do you think that project can work? I said, yes, I can even elaborate it and defend it in a UNIFEM, the UN Women Today. And he said, okay, if you think it can work, go and do the draft of the project proposal.
Mm.
So I had to write the project proposal, and my English was very bad. I had to contact my two colleagues. They helped me to edit the project proposal,
Mm-hmm.
and I went to defend it in a uniform. I was with my boss. I defended the project, and the project was very, very interesting, and they accepted to fund the project. So when they funded the project, the project was for
Mm-hmm.
Ingabo magazine, and we have been told that it can move to Ministry of Defense.
Mm.
So we started the gender desk within the Ministry of Defense, and the military
Mm.
men got to be trained. Even women, military women, they got to be trained about gender issues, about fighting against gender-based violence. And today, when I write my CV, I put that part of
Mm. Mm.
have the role in the establishment of Gender Destiny Army.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, that's quite a story. And you then went on to found another company, the Family Magazine, which focuses on gender issues, family promotion, women empowerment, gender-based violence, a very similar kind of area, and then family conflict as well. Tell us your journey. Like, how did you start this process of finding a magazine of this nature?
Yeah. After the establishment of Gender Destiny Army, I saw that it was from my mind,
Mm.
and I was just getting the normal salary as before. After that, I had to go to work with internews. Ingabo magazine were closing the doors because they wanted to write stories on online within the Ministry of Defense website, and I had to go to the internews. Okay, I was growing in my career. I had to go to the internews, Washington, but based in Rwanda. And when I was there, I also proposed another project with the internet to train journalists on gender reporting, and they got fund. So after a while, I was thinking, why can I just create or found a media house that can even work and do projects to strengthen journalists, to empower women in the society, and to fight against family conflict, domestic violence, and gender-based violence and child abuse. So after realizing that I can propose some projects and get fund, I decided to create Family Magazine. The first reason was when you are in other media house, you cannot propose some topics easily. If the editor or the manager doesn't see any benefit from your topics, they deny it. They refuse you to report on this. Today, they saw that gender issues can pay, but it wasn't the case before. When you were proposing a gender issue article or news, they're saying, these news are not paying. You can't get money from these topics. Okay, they were not interested in this. So I realized that if I have my own media house, no one will stop me to report on these issues. And if I hire journalists, they will report because I am the boss. So I will influence them, and they will report on these issues because issues of women, issues of gender must be heard. People must be aware on this gender-based violence and how they can contribute in combating this violence. That's why I
Mm.
created Family Magazine. The second reason was to get money, to
Mm.
propose projects, to network with the other media houses outside Rwanda, and to connect with the different organizations, national, region, and globally, and to build this awareness on gender issues, especially women issues.
So essentially, what you're saying is that the magazine was your opportunity to kind of do what you really love, but also while making sure you're adequately compensated for the quality of the work you were doing, right? And so, when you reflect on your role as a woman in this space, how would you say you've used your position, your gender, and your passion for such stories to ensure that media is adequately reporting on gender issues?
First of all, I can say that this consistency
Mm,
of reporting on gender issues and creating my family magazine and getting money influenced and inspired many women journalists, even men, because I started showing them publishing stories on gender and I was very happy. And starting seeing women creating their own media houses and they start reporting on gender issues. I was very happy, and that was a big impact for me. Maybe it can't be realized in eyes like this, but for me, I realized that what I was doing inspired many people, especially journalists. I had to be invited. First, I have to be invited in different platforms globally, and because of family magazines, of course, I had to get connected to other women across the world who are reporting on same topics, and I was entering in some board as a board member in different organizations of women media. So I got to be known as a gender reporter. That was my
mm,
specialization. So when I see today that if there is a gender issue and I'm consulted, I see that what I did and my journey was getting an impact. I think in the morning I told you that I was invited to a talk show with I had with the Minister of Gender today. It's because I fought for women's rights. I fought for gender promotion. So I see that my mission is not going just like that. It's seen and circle organized.
And when you reflect on all of that journey to where you are now, from the moment that you were the first female at the Ministry of Defense magazine to setting up your family magazine, how would you reflect on the challenges that you experienced and how you kind of combated them? Like, what were the challenges and how did you address those?
Yeah, the challenges were many, and today I can say that I'm strong. I know how to face the challenges, but I see other women are facing similar challenges that I was facing. To be called Igishegabo, it's very
Mm,
harmful, and to be considered like a rude woman. These challenges made me to realize that I'm a feminist. Maybe I was born a feminist, but to realize this, it was from these challenges. To always be called, peace, you're rude, peace, you're not a journalist, you're
mm,
activist, you are this and this. And I was fighting for my rights. I was saying I have the rights to report on these issues. I have the rights to protect these young girls who are abused. I have the rights to protect these women from domestic violence, from sexual violence. And I realized that I can use my voice in the most and better ways that I can find. I use social media, Twitter, Facebook, and I use all the platform I can get to make my voice heard, to be heard. So I can say many challenges are there, but when you face them, you move on. I cannot give up. I even had some, I can say, violence. Even my family was attacked.
mm.
I remember in 2018, I was like to give up. I was saying myself, why do I struggle with this? Why should I just leave this career? And I said, oh no, I can't fail. I have to keep going on. Failure
Mm.
is not my option. I have to keep going on. So now I faced my colleagues, and I think I also became more strong than before because I know now how to protect myself. I know now how people can behave when you are not on the same level of understanding. So I'm well prepared now. But I can see my fellow journalists, especially women, they are facing challenges, many challenges. Sexual abuse, sexual harassment, gender discrimination with the media houses, and cyberbullying on social media, even women feminists.
Mm.
Recently, I was telling them I don't get attacked on social media, and I don't know why. Because I say things like you, but now I think I became strong, and they know if they attack me, they will fail. Nothing will happen to me. I will continue. They will not get me out. I will still writing my views. I will still facing them. So I won't change. I think this is why they no longer attack me on social media, why they used to attack other women.
Mm.
I'm no longer facing cyberbullying on social media. No.
What impact did the cyberbullying have on you?
At that time, I got to see the 3 psychologists to get me out of this. And it was very hard. Even my family, we had to get these sessions of psychologists with psychologists to get out of this, to overcome.
Mm.
It is something that I can't wish for someone. Today, I see there's some women who live, who get out from social media because of cyberbullying. Some of them are journalists. There are some women who fear writing their views. They are though on social media because of cyberbullying. There are some women journalists who leave the career because of sexual harassment. And today, I also celebrate that we have now media anti-sexual harassment policy in Rwanda, and I'm great that I participated in this journey of having the anti-sexual harassment policy with the media, the Rwandan media. So it's a big impact. And I remember when I started this fight against sexual harassment in media, people were saying, peace, you exaggerate things. Why no? Hugging is not sexual harassment. Teasing is not sexual harassment. You always exaggerate with this. Maybe you are getting mad.
Mm.
And they were saying you feminists are bad, very bad in the society, especially in Rwandan society. You are destroying our society. Peace, you are bad, very bad. So, but now, when they were signing the sexual harassment policy, I was celebrating in my heart. I was saying, wow, thank you, God. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now they understand that we need to fight against sexual harassment. We need to prevent this from our journalists because I know that sexual harassment affects job performance
Mm.
on sexual harassment prevent women, most women, to get in the career. They go to school, they study journalism, but when they graduate, they don't enter in journalism because of those issues of sexual harassment and gender discrimination. Now we have a gender desk. I
Mm.
celebrate. My work didn't go in
In
vain.
vain. Yeah. All right, so we're going to take a brief moment from the interview to tell you more about some of the things that we do here at African Women in Media. And today I'll be bringing you sourceher.com. That's source, SOURCE, her, HER.com. And it's a groundbreaking platform that we've developed as African Women in Media, designed to help editors and journalists to identify sources. Now, on sourceher.com, the sources you will find are all African women who are experts in a range of fields, from women, peace and security agenda to aerophysics. Our objective with Sourceher is to bridge that gap in representation of African women as expert sources on news media. So if you're a journalist, you're an editor, you work in the newsroom or in other media industries, documentary filmmaking, for example, and you're looking to champion the voices of African women in your content, in your news story, and to address that big gap in gender representation of expert sources, particularly that of African women, then visit sourceher.com and sign up to discover and interview African women as your expert source in your next content. Together, let's promote adequate inclusion and representation of African women. Absolutely, and it's been a privilege to have worked with people like yourself in Rwanda, and because obviously FOYO kind of supported the development of the research that we did in Rwanda to look at the barriers for women journalists in the country. And I still remember coming to present the outcomes to a room full of media managers, including yourself, and when we said, okay, well, what the top issue that emerged from our research was sexual harassment. When you're presenting such research to people who are predominantly male in the room, the reaction has often, in my experience, been a sense of defense as opposed to really focusing on the issue. So I remember some people making comments like, men are sexually harassed too. Why aren't we talking about that? And men are this and all that, and that's all, they lie about us. And there's a tendency to kind of take that defensive approach. And you kind of get it because you feel from their perspective a sense of attack, perhaps, right, on their characteristics and things. But really that sense of a zero sum ideology that if you are focusing on women's issues, then that means you're not focusing on men's issues. I think that often forms a barrier for people to accept that, okay, this is the issue we need to deal with. So, all kudos to you being that kind of soldier, should I use that word, right? In championing and being relentless in trying to get to a point where we are now, as you said, in Rwanda, having a national anti-sexual harassment committee and a national anti-sexual harassment policy, right, for the media industry. So that's a significant step, and it was a great pleasure to work with you and other media women and men in Rwanda in doing that. So in your opinion, how can media play a more influential role in promoting gender justice and empowering marginalized voices? Big question.
Yeah, I think last week we had a session with the Women News. I think Women News program.
Hmm. Hmm.
They was here in Rwanda, and we had a session about gender equality and gender equity. They were did thing of
Hmm.
inclusion, diversity and inclusion. And when they asked them a question about inclusion, I said there are marginalized people out there that we need to empower them and to include them in our plans, in
Hmm.
what we do, because we need to promote the power dynamic. And they were asking me, who are the marginalized people? And they were saying there are many women are marginalized. There are some people who are vulnerable. There are LGBT, sex
Mm.
workers, many people. I was naming them. Some women journalists say, no, peace, peace, peace. How are you coming with these people in this, even in this conversation? I was saying, like, we are talking about inclusion. We live in a diverse society. We live this
Hmm.
with these people, and they have power. They can contribute. I can't discriminate someone because of their choices, because it's not my mission. My interest is to work with them to build the society, not go in their private life or in no. And there are some marginalized people because of who they are. Why? I can't bring these people on table and get the potential that they have to achieve my goals? Because our goals is
Mm,
to build a society, to build a community. So we need to get together, to work together, and to get powerful impact in the society. So I see that today we are fighting against gender stereotypes within the media.
mm,
I also remember in those discussions when we are talking about election that are coming in July in Rwanda,
mm,
and you are talking the women participation during the elections. One journalist, a lady, said
mhm,
that women don't give interview.
mm,
Women are shy. Women and I was saying no, that is gender stereotype.
mm,
All women are not shy. You can't say that all women don't give interview. No, it's a lie.
mhm,
There are women who want to talk. What are the topics that we are talking with women? What are the interview? What are the questions that we're asking from
mhm,
women? We always consider women like weak people.
mm,
We always consider them that like they don't have something very important to share.
mm,
We ask them questions when there is a case of GBV, when there is a case of uh, there's some issues of prostitution. We describe them like sex objects. You see, if you go to ask question to like example, I was giving example of a sexual violence victim, and you are
mm,
getting you just go there with your microphone, your recorder, and you pull their recorder. Please tell us this and this. They won't
mm.
respond to you.
Yeah, yeah.
If this woman is a victim of GBV or sexual violence or domestic violence, go and discuss with, go and
Mm,
have a conversation with them before you record them. Listen to them, then tell them why you need that interview. Before they record, they will respond to you. And don't consider these women, the vulnerable women only, the women who head their big companies. If you go there and request interview, consider this woman like a strong woman. We don't give spaces to women who are very strong in the society, who are empowered, who are powerful in the society. We always giving interviews to the vulnerable women. Why? We have to consider all women in different categories that they are. So gender stereotypes is one of things that journalists should avoid with the content, with the media in general. And also, we should put more effort in inclusiveness because we need all people to have the space in our media,
mm,
in our
mm,
content. Discrimination should be avoided within our media houses. We also have to be aware about human rights. All people are equal, and all people should all people have freedom of expression, and they have rights to information.
mm,
So we should avoid those gender stereotype and discriminating people uh, because of who they are.
mm. So, what advice would you give to the future piece, right? Young women who are coming into the industry, who are kind of on a similar journey to you, what advice would you give them based on your experiences?
First of all, I can tell them that media is a good career, a
Mm,
very, very good career when you have that passion. Because they go to start the journalism because they decided to do it. Maybe
mm,
some of them just get the scholarship to start journalism without knowing what is going to be them or what is going to happen with them. But journalism is a good career because it gives a space to a journalist to talk, to advocate, and to share the views. It gives opportunity to do right things within the community, within the society. So I advise them to, if they think they can be journalists, I advise them to continue that dream, but to
mm,
have a passion. Most of the time, I tell them that if you are an expert in some domain and some sector within the media, you will be recognized on what you're doing.
mm, mm,
Most of the time, I see these young girls from School of Journalism. Some of them, when I talk with them, they say, I used to have conversation with them. They say, I want to go in entertainment. I want to be talking on social issues. And there's some who wants to be on just on air, on TV. I will be an anchor. I will be representing news in video. No, I will tell them, please specialize in things, in one thing. Know better this domain, especially if you are specialized in justice. Go into deeply, know everything about justice. Read the laws. Know how the courts are working. Know how every aspect of justice. You will be known as a justice reporter.
mm,
If you want to go in gender, please be aware of everything which goes with gender.
mm, mm,
If you want to go in health reporting, but don't mix things. Today you are reporting on health, tomorrow you are reporting on entertainment, on sport. No, don't mix things. So I used to advise them, and another thing I advise them: in the media we don't have money, but if you want to have money, please focus on
mm,
innovative creation and the focus. You can get grants, awards, but you can even propose some projects and be funded.
mm,
Don't go there just to get salaries. No. I give them the realities within our media, especially Rwandan media. You will find most of media houses don't give salaries to their journalists, but don't give your articles, your news will pay you. Don't even be stuck in one media house. You can work on have contracts with one media house if they tell you that they are going to pay you well and you don't have to go out. Please remain that media house. But if they don't, you can be a permanent journalist in one media and be a freelancer in other media houses, especially mainstream media outside Rwanda, in America, in US, in London, UK. I see. I tell them that don't be stuck in one media houses if the contract is open for you. I was also tell them that in media we have challenges like sexual harassment, gender discrimination, glass ceiling. Please go there, and if you know there are these things, you will be able to fight against these issues. Be part of the people who say no to sexual harassment, no to gender discrimination,
mm,
cyberbullying, glass ceiling, but don't support them. Because I know that even before these young generations, young girls who are graduating from the School of Journalism, us, the senior or the, the senior women journalists, as the old women journalists, I know there are some of us who are still struggling to say no.
so
Please,
yeah,
you know we can't go any politics reporting because we are women. Please, you see, I can't go to work during the late
mm,
hours because I'm a woman. I can't go to field very far from my house because I'm a woman. No, we still have those women who think like that.
mm. So what next for you, Peace?
next for me, I'm dreaming to have a TV station.
Excellent.
But not for me only, because last year I went to Nairobi and I had to visit the Standard Group,
Mm,
and I saw that we as women media organizations, we can get together and establish a TV station, a big TV station,
mm,
which has different stations with different topics and radios. So I have a dream to have a big media house like Standard Group in Kenya, which I visited,
mm.
and I'm working on it. I even started mobilizing them, women media organization members, to think about this and to see if you can
Yeah.
work on this to have this media. It will be the first big media in Rwanda owned by women. That's my dream.
Wow. Well, it is a dream that we help you to share, and I'm 100% behind you, and I really look forward to seeing that dream realized. Thank you so much, Peace, for sharing your inspirational story. And I've really, really enjoyed listening to it and gained so much from you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me in this conversation.
This episode has been a refreshing one that redirects us to the drawing board by exposing yet again the prevalence and dangers of gender stereotypes, discrimination, and cyberbullying through the experiences of Peace Hilary. Peace, through her story, calls for an all-round inclusion which not only amplifies the voices of men and women, but also that of both vulnerable and trailblazing women to avoid a one-sided coverage and portrayal of all women as vulnerable. Send me an email at yemc@africanwomeninmedia.com with your thoughts, and please also email me if you'd like to appear on an episode of her media diary. To find out more about African Women in Media and our work, visit our main website at africanwomeninmedia.com. In the show notes, there's a list of organizations and resources to support you if you have experienced any of the topics we've discussed today. And don't forget, join the conversation using the hashtag #HerMediaDiary.
Hemidu Diary is a product of African Women in Media, an NGO advocating for gender equality in the media industry. And this episode was hosted by Dr. Yemisi Akimbobola, produced and edited by Blessing Odeobasi as part of a 4-episode series on media legends. All music featured in this podcast is by Nana Kwabena. Thanks for listening, and join us again next time.